Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing the Wrestling Time post show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing AEW Dynamite. This is the Fallout from Full Gear. Alright, so tonight's show kicked off with a William Regal promo. Everybody was curious to hear what his explanation was going to be for helping MJF win at Full Gear. If you guys remember, William Regal threw a pair of brass knuckles to MJF when Moxley was not looking. That allowed MJF to beat Jon Moxley. So, William Regal says that we're going to hear from MJF next week because he is not there. He is on the set of a major motion picture. I'm assuming that motion picture is Iron Claw, as it was recently reported that MJF got a part in that movie. So again, William Regal goes on to say that he sent MJF an email, but again, MJF will explain everything next week. So then Jon Moxley comes out. And William Regal's like making this face. He does not seem happy that Jon Moxley's out there. And it seemed like Moxley was going to attack William Regal, because he looked pissed. And then Bryan Danielson came out and he tried to stop Jon Moxley from beating the tar out of Regal. I mean, can you blame Moxley though? So at one point, Moxley shoved Bryan into Regal. And Bryan tells Jon Moxley he doesn't know why Regal did what he did. He says that when Moxley has done bad things and he's done bad things and that everyone's done bad things. And he's basically pleading with Jon Moxley not to attack Regal. And he slaps Moxley and he instantly regrets this because he starts apologizing to him. Bryan goes on to say he doesn't care if the crowd boos him. That when his dad struggled with the same things, he says this is more than wrestling. He said that when his dad struggled with those same things, that Regal was there to be able to teach him, and that because of Regal, Bryan was able to understand his dad's struggles and was able to love him in the last 10 years of his life. And then he tells Moxley to imagine someone teaching his daughter to love him despite his struggles. As Bryan loves Regal. And then Moxley picks up the microphone and tells William Regal that he only wants one thing from Regal, and that is to run far away as far as he can and never come back. Like right now, walk and keep on walking. So I'm very curious as to what is going to happen here. I mean, Moxley is basically telling William Regal to stay away. Otherwise, he's probably going to get a beatdown. Very curious to see what the plan between MJF and Regal was. And what's going to happen if William Regal shows his face around AEW? Or at least shows his face to Moxley. So this isn't over. And I'm actually really interested by this because I'm very curious to see what's going to happen next. Especially I want to see what Claudio and Wheeler Yuta think. Because they were the BCC. So now I'm pretty sure the BCC is done for. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll stick together. I guess we got to wait and see. But overall, I'm very intrigued by this storyline. It was a good way to kick off tonight's Dynamite. We get what's supposed to be a Keith Lee backstage interview. Before he starts talking, Swerve Strickland shows up, and Keith Lee tells him to choose his words wisely. And Swerve Strickland covers up the camera, and he tells him that he wants to talk without the camera. So very curious to see where this is going to go. Is the pairing still going to continue? Are we going to get a feud between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, which is where I thought they were going to go, but it seems like maybe they may not. Is Keith Lee going to turn heel? Very intrigued by this. So next we have the All-Atlantic Championship match is Jade Hager versus Orange Cassidy. And according to commentary, this is the 5th title defense of Orange Cassidy. Now this was a very fun match. I really love that Orange Cassidy was always just being Orange Cassidy and Jade Hager was playing up his whole hat gimmick. By the way, it's not the early 2000s anymore, so I don't think those hats are in style. So I really like the fact that Orange Cassidy took off his glasses, he handed them to the ref, but then Jade Hager took those glasses and put them on. And you can see, Cassidy tried taking away those glasses from him, but Hager stopped them, and then he does his usual kicks, which I thought was hilarious. Oh, and then Jade Hager loses his hat in the process. Boy, he really likes that hat. So Parker and Menard tries to take the hat from Orange Cassidy, but they fail. Garcia then takes the hat successfully. Cassidy goes face first into the ring apron. Jade Hager eventually puts his hat back on. And he's doing the ankle lock to Orange Cassidy, but because Cassidy takes the hat, Jake Hager lets go. This allows Orange Cassidy to do the Orange Punch and successfully retain his All-Atlantic title. So this whole hat gimmick that Jake Hager is doing is actually pretty enjoyable. I'm enjoying this gimmick. Usually Hager is quiet, it's just in the background, but I'm really liking this hat gimmick. And I think he's enjoying himself too. So afterwards, the factory come out. And QT Marshall says that since Cassidy has no problem giving out title shots, he actually does not finish his train of thought because the lights go out. And as the lights start to dim on, you see Julia Hart standing in the middle, kind of like the Undertaker, because she has a hat and she's going like this. And the House of Black return and they attack Best Friends, and they also take out the factory. Security come out and try to stop them. That's not enough. And then Malachi Black asks members of the House of Black to stand. So House of Black officially is back, and they just made a statement. So I guess it seems like their first feud is going to be with the Best Friends and the factory. They might eventually move on to the Trios Championship, but I see that for them down the road. Okay. So then we have the AEW Eliminator Tournament Finals match. It's All Ego Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks. Now, this was a good match. Ricky Starks came out all bandaged and stuff with his ribs. And throughout this match, Ethan Page was just targeting that midsection. He was targeting those injured ribs. He sent him into the barricade. He kicked the midsection and he gave him some stomps. Ricky Starks still successfully managed to pull off 2 spears to Page despite those ribs. Now, at some point, Stokely Hathaway does get involved in this, and of course, he gets ejected to the back. The fact that Ricky Starks was able to do the superplex to Page despite those injured ribs was pretty cool. Then the crowd was behind Ricky Starks. Everybody was rooting for Ricky Starks. So the match ends after Ricky Starks hits a 3rd spear to Page. So Ricky Starks is victorious, meaning he will face MJF at Winter's Coming. Now, if you ask me, and I feel like this tournament was a little predictable, at least in this match. And the reason why I say that is because Ricky Starks had gotten injured, which is why the finals could not take place at Full Gear. And I feel like if he wasn't meant to win this tournament, they would have replaced him right off the bat. But because it seems like he didn't have a severe injury, they delayed the match and he ended up winning. So I kind of feel that way. But hey, I actually really enjoyed the match. It was a good match. And Ricky Starks had an incredible showing. And that match against Brian Cage was good. So I'm not complaining. Still a good match. And I'm happy for Ricky Starks. I think he deserves that opportunity. But it sucks because, again, Ethan Page still has yet to win gold. So then we get a Jade Cargill segment. And they're basically talking about her confronting Bow Wow at his concert. She says that she doesn't have a comment on Bow Wow because she doesn't want to give him any more clout. Red Velvet is back. And it seems like Smart Mark Sterling is back with Jade. And we also find out there's going to be a baddie celebration. And Kira Hogan's services are no longer needed. So I wonder what that means for poor Kira Hogan. Because is she going to go back to dark? Is she going to break out on her own? Is she just... like, what does that mean for Kira Hogan? I feel bad for her. I mean, she got stuck on dark and elevation for a while. Then she's doing this, and now she's getting kicked out. So then we get the AEW World Trios Tag Team Championship Best of Series match. It is the Elite versus the Death Triangle. This is their second match. So the reason why this Best of Series came about was because at Full Gear, due to the finish, Ray Phoenix hitting Omega with that hammer, yeah, that caused this. Now, I'm really liking the Elites coming out to Carry On by the Wayward Sons. Now, they're in Chicago. So the crowd was really... they booed the Elite. They were chanting for Punk. And the Elite took... I would say you can say they took shots at Punk. I mean, Kenny Omega doing the GTS 2-pack. Matt Jackson attempting to do a buckshot lariat and not successfully being able to do it, which is kind of when CM Punk did a buckshot lariat, and he was unable to do it. So, and to top it off, you had Kenny Omega bite Pac in the arm, just like how Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega in the arm. What more can you say? And you hear the fuck elite chants. I mean, at Full Gear, you heard the fuck punk chants. So again, they're in Chicago, so it's expected. So Ray Fenix doing a cutter to Omega and then doing a tornado to the elite on the outside was pretty cool. At some point, the Bucks take the mask off of Pac. You know, he got a broken nose at Full Gear. So, but overall, this was a good match. I actually really enjoyed this match. And the finish was interesting because you had Brandon Cutler hand Matt the Bring Bell hammer, and then Penta took the hammer from Matt and he hit him with it. And so Death Triangle was victorious because of that. Now, honestly, I'm presently surprised that Death Triangle won this because I thought it was going to be the Elites match, because if it's the best of series, I'm assuming they're going to go all the way to 7. And I thought this was going to be the Elite, so that way it's 1-1 each. But now that Death Triangle wins 2, I could see the Elite winning the next 2. And that's how we slowly get to match 7 in this best of 7 series. But overall, it was a really great match. I think it's probably going to be a good match every time we have these best of series matches. The Bucks and versus the Lucha Brothers is always good. You throw Kenny Omega and Pac in there, and I think you're going to have yourselves a great match. So Renee Paquette gave an announcement before the start of the women's 3-way tag match. She said that Thunder Rosa and AEW came to an agreement that due to her injuries, she unfortunately is relinquishing the title. She says she is doing this for the benefit of the women in AEW. And now Jamie Hayter is officially the women's champion. There is no more interim. And Toni Storm's title reign is also recognized as official women's champion, no longer interim. I have to say, I feel bad for Thunder Rosa because I felt like her reign was just completely lackluster, in a sense that, like, after she beat Britt Baker at St. Patrick's Day Slam, she got to celebrate, but she didn't get her moment in her hometown. Like, she came out the following week and she was going to cut a promo, but she got interrupted by Nyla Rose. She didn't get that moment, which she should have. And I just feel like her reign was just so... how can I say this? Yeah, lackluster. There is no other way to describe it. She did not have a good title reign as champion. I just feel like Thunder Rosa could have been booked better her time as champion. You know, I got that her pairing with Toni Storm, Thunderstorm, was originally supposed to lead to a title match, but unfortunately Thunder Rosa did get injured. So it just, even before her injury, her reign was just lackluster, and I was not enjoying her reign as champion. And that's not on her. It was on her booking. But I hope that when Thunder Rosa returns from injury, she gets another chance at being women's champion. And hopefully then she can have a proper title reign. So after this announcement, Renee Paquette introduces Jamie Hayter as AEW women's champion. And just as Jamie Hayter is about to start talking, Britt interrupts. She interrupts and speaks on her behalf. So it seems to me like they're slowly planting the seeds for Jamie Hayter to split from Britt Baker. But this leads into the 3-way women's tag match. It's Ty J ASS versus the AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker D.M.D. versus Willow, Nightingale, and Sky Blue. This is actually a pretty enjoyable match. I actually didn't mind this match at all. I enjoyed it. There was a double suplex to Ty J by Jamie Hayter. Then a double suplex to Britt Baker by Ty J. Ty J worked together to take out Willow. Melo sent Willow into the barricade. Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker D.M.D. were victorious in this, with Britt Baker getting the win for her team. So I honestly think that now they're going to start the split of Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, which is a story that they were originally telling before Thunder Rosa got in. They kind of had to hit the brakes on that storyline. So I think now they're going to restart it up again. We get a quick backstage segment with Top Flight and FTR. And Dax says that he knows Darius has had a string of bad luck, but they keep impressing them. And Dax would like for Top Flight to eventually take over the tag team division. So we find out that at Rampage, we're going to get Top Flight versus FTR. Should be a good match. That's going to be a really great match. I'm actually looking forward to that match. Then we have the Acclaimed segment, who they say have a lot to be thankful for, like retaining the tag titles. And everybody loves the Acclaim. I like the Acclaim. I love the Acclaim, actually. Anthony Bowen said his shoulder's feeling a lot better. They get interrupted by Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, Satan Singh, and Jeff Jarrett. They appear in the Titantron, and basically Jeff Jarrett tells the Acclaim to watch their backs. And Billy Gunn basically has the Titantron turned off because he says he's still got that pull around here. Interesting thing how he says, "Scissor me daddy ass," when he is daddy ass. So what, is he gonna scissor himself? I thought that was pretty hilarious. I don't think he thought that one through before saying it. So the main event is the Ring of Honor World Championship match. It's the Ocho, Chris Jericho versus Tomohiro Ishii. And this was a great main event. Honestly, amazing main event. Jericho flipping off the crowd like always. And there was so much back and forth between Ishii and Jericho. Because they were just going back and forth. Ishii slapped Jericho. Then they started slapping each other. There was at one point, they did back and forth chops between each other. Jericho's chest got all bloody. Jericho at one point Jericho attempted to shoulder tackle Ishii, but he failed. So Ishii successfully shoulder tackled him. There was an elbow strike to Chris Jericho, the DDT to the Ishii on the ring apron. That looked brutal. I mean, this match was hard hitting. That doesn't surprise me. That's why Tomohiro Ishii's called the Stone Pitbull. Ishii hitting Jericho with the headbutt. And then Jericho put Ishii in the walls of Jericho, and he made him tap out. And so Jericho successfully retained his ROH title, which means he is heading into Final Battle as Ring of Honor champion, or the Reign of Jericho champion, as he calls himself. And so as Jericho is leaving, he gets a right hand by Claudio Castelloni, which kind of tells me that the rivalry isn't over. It seems like we might get one more match after that finish, and I hope after that match, this rivalry is over. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a good match. It's like Bryan and Jericho. We got Bryan and Jericho, 3 times? Overall, this was a great episode of Dynamite. I did not have a problem with this episode. I actually really enjoyed it, top to bottom. I liked everything on this card. And with that being said, that concludes this review. But thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. As for SmackDown Rampage, I don't know if I'll go live on Friday, but if I don't, I'll definitely record and upload. And for Survivor Series, still kind of up in the air if I'll go live, or if not, I'll just record and upload. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching, and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys Friday after SmackDown. Bye.